Do you want to know the best apps to focus when you're working online or on your computer? Do you want to reclaim a massive amount of time, minimize distractions, and become ultra productive? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you the 4 best apps you can install and try out immediately to get so much more done in less time. Now, before I'm going to delve into all the good stuff, you might want to consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my tips about how to maximize your productivity. Now, let's crack into it. Now, we live in a world with weapons of mass distraction. Anytime you're working online, anytime you're working on your phone, anytime you're working on your computer, you're constantly being distracted by all the things that tempt you but are not the most important things to be productive. So in this video, I want to give you some easy, fast to use tools that are going to help you reclaim a massive amount of time. I'm going to talk about my 4 best apps I recommend you can start installing right now. But if you want to learn some other tools that are out there, you can also download my Focus Finder guide in the description, which will give you some other tools to make sure you are ultra productive when you're working online. Now, let's delve into the best apps. Let me start by app number 1, the app that I recommend the most and is going to be a game changer for you. That is the app called Freedom. Let me show you what Freedom does and how it works. Now, first install Freedom on your computer and on your smartphone. Now, when you install it, make sure in options you also have start at login. That way you don't have to decide and you can back out of it, because every time you start your computer and you have an active block where you can't access certain sites or block the internet or apps, you can't get into those apps. The second thing is to set up your block lists. Your block lists are certain lists that you make that you can access during a certain period of time. And you make those block lists arranged to topic, and then you put certain sites under that topic. So as you can see here in my Freedom, you can see here that I have courses, distraction, entertainment. Distraction, entertainment, not the most productive way to spend your time. So maybe only do it at the end of the day or at the end of the evening. But if you're going to scroll more on all those entertaining sites, it's going to waste a lot of time, and you're going to take a lot longer to finish certain things that you said you would do. And at the end of the day, you say, oh my God, I forgot to do it. I don't want that to happen to you. So that way you can just lock yourself out so you're not tempted. Other sites are your email, if you're checking them all the time. Like, I don't know how many times people check email a day, but raise your hands or drop a hand down below if it's way too much. Basically, probably 90-95% of my audience checks their email way too much. That's the fear of missing out. But you miss out actually on doing the productive work if you check certain sites way too much. So limit your time again with checking the email. And the other things are Facebook, Google, social media. Maybe in general you can put Instagram, TikTok, all the other sites, you can maybe put them under a block list called social. And it's a hugely underestimated thing that wastes a lot of time, but I also have a porn block. It's one of the things that are very addictive, especially for men. It's porn. So I put all the YouPorn and Pornhub, you know, these sites, and Xhamster, etc. I put them all here and I block them all the time. That way, it's very hard for me to look for porn, and I'm not distracted, and I'm not wasting again by just scrolling from video to video to video and just wasting all my potential and all my energy. So that's the other thing. Set up block lists. The same thing you can also do with apps. You can manage blocked apps. Here you can go to manage blocked apps, and here you can select the apps that are blocked during a certain period of time. So for instance, me, I use a workstation which is called Shift. I will probably make a video in the future. Anytime I mention a video or a future video, I will drop it down below in the description box. So also make sure that Shift is blocked during a certain period of time. That handles all my emails, so that way I also can't access it. So here again, you can just set up all the apps here. So after you set up the block lists and the apps, then you're going to set up the sessions during which you can't access certain apps, certain block lists, or block the entire internet. So as you can see, here are all my sessions that I have active. If you want to have a new session, basically you can start now, start later. But as I said, the best thing is to make sure that you know what you're going to do and you don't have to use any decision-making power. So the best way is just to set up recurring sessions. So what you do here is you set up a recurring session, you give it a name, Give it a name that makes sense, Facebook late, social media evening, or morning routine, or whatever you want to call it. Set up the time in which it will be active. You can set up the days in which you're going to make sure that it's active. Select it here, and then here, as I said, you can select all websites. That makes sure that you can't access the internet, besides the exceptions, which I will talk about in just a minute. Here, you select the apps, like as I said here, manage blocked apps. There you can select all the apps that are blocked during this period of time. Here you can select the block lists that are blocked during the sessions, and then here you can choose the devices. I have 2 iPhones and then I have a Mac, so here you can also select on which devices it is active, and then you save it, and bam, then it's done. Now, don't worry at all if there are some sites that you want to be able to always check, even if you shut off, like I said here, if you shut off all the websites, here you have an ability to just manage website exceptions. Now, to set these exceptions, there has to be no running sessions. You can always contact the support during 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. EST time. You can contact them to disable a session, not delete it, unless you want to delete it. They can disable it for you, so you can set up an exception list. So here you can add sites that are always active. So if you select all websites or block something and you put something in exceptions, if you know that you always have to be able to check a site, you can always do it here. And you can always contact here the support if there ever is a problem or you want to get in touch with them. Between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. EST, Monday to Friday, you can contact them. Just send them a message and they will be able to help you out in emergencies. So here you can see the prices of Freedom. It's actually pretty cheap for all the value that it offers. So it's about $30 for a year, or you can go for the Forever account. So definitely something that is going to save you a massive amount of time, and time is money. So the time you win with this is just massive. So this is my #1 app that I would definitely recommend to you guys. Now, the second app that's going to help you reclaim a massive amount of time is called Facebook Newsfeed Eradicator. Now, it's actually a plugin, and I'm going to show you what it does, and it's a must-have if ever you want to make sure that you focus on what matters and not get distracted. This is what Facebook Newsfeed Eradicator does. Kind of self-explanatory. It removes the newsfeed. So when I log into my Facebook on my desktop, I can't see the newsfeed. All I see is just a motivational quote, often related to productivity, and that's it. I can still see the notifications, I can still go to my messenger, I can still post an update, I can do everything what I want to do in terms of creativity, but not in terms of endlessly scrolling down my newsfeed, responding, seeing all the craziness in the world, the polarization, being sucked in that dark hole of comments and fear of missing out. Let me know if you've been in that dark hole yourself, because I've been guilty of it in the past. But this helps me focus and using social media in a constructive way. And especially if you're a coach or consultant or entrepreneur like me, who wants to use social media instead of being used by it, you want to be mindful of the consumption of social media. And with this tool, Facebook Newsfeed Eradicator, you make sure that you use it wisely. You can install it on the browser Chrome, and you can also install it on the browser Firefox. Which brings me to the third tool I would definitely recommend you to use, and that tool is called Distraction-Free YouTube. Again, Facebook, YouTube, social media in general is going to suck a massive amount of time that you could use for a lot better things, especially in the beginning of the day when you want to focus on being productive instead of being busy or being distracted. So distraction-free YouTube is another tool I would definitely recommend you to use. Let me show you a bit what it does. So as you can see here, this is my YouTube. You basically see a white screen. When you click library, you're going to see some of the videos that are recently visited, but that's basically it. Here you can see the videos, and I have some watch later things, but that's max it. And if I ever go into, let's say I want to find a video about productivity and time management, I can still type it in, and I will find a whole range of videos I can watch, and I will just click, let's say the first one here. When I click on that video, I can actually just consume the video. So as you can see here, you can just watch the video, no problem at all. You can consume what you're looking for, but you won't see any recommendation videos and you won't see any flaming comments or distracting comments because they're just blocked. Tell me in the comments if ever in the past you were looking for a video and then you clicked on the recommended video and you clicked on the recommended video, and before you know it, so many time passed, like, oh my god, I was looking to educate myself and I was sucked into that recommended video hole or just scrolling down the comment section. Or you end up with an MMA video or a cat video and you have no way how you ended up there. Well, if you want to make sure that you use social media wisely and you want to consume instead of being consumed by it, distraction-free YouTube is one of the best tools out there. If you want some other useful apps, you can also find my Focus Finder guide in the description down below, where I will give you some other tools to make sure you're ultra productive when you're working online. The last tool that I'm going to talk about is Focusmate. Focusmate allows you to have a virtual co-working space. This is where you sign up for Focusmate. Go to focusmate.com. You can sign up with email. You can sign up with your Google. And once you're logged in, it looks like this. This is what the session will look like when somebody else is joining. Normally here you will say the face of the other person. Here you can choose to mute your mic or not mute your mic. And here you can choose to allow your camera or not allow your camera. So basically what happens in a Focusmate session is, as soon as the session starts, you check in with each other. You say like, hey, nice to meet you. What are you going to work on? The person says what they work on. You say what you're going to work on. And then you have 50 minutes to be able to work on the task you said you would work on. Preferably you mute the mic. You can leave the camera on so you can see each other working, or you can disable it if you want to. And then after 50 minutes, then you are hearing a bell, and then it's end of the session, and then you can give feedback how the 50 minutes went for you. So as you can see here you can book a session, you can select it. It's always time blocks of like 50 minutes. As you can see here, it's like 9 a.m. until 9:50 a.m. And if I'm going to say I'm going to book it, then there's going to be a spot available, and then someone can match with me. People will see that my session is available, and the first person who's going to match with that time slot is going to be matched with me. So as soon as that session happens, they're going to ask you to add it to your calendar. You're going to click accept. Focusmate is like a great way to have a virtual co-working space, especially now with COVID. It's pretty cool that you can work with someone online. You can hold each other accountable. You can check in with each other. And that way, if you're dabbling, if you're procrastinating, you set an intention. If after 50 minutes you weren't able to do what you said you would do, at least you have someone to hold you accountable to. So these are my 4 best apps that you can use to help you reclaim focus and get more stuff done in less time. If you aren't subscribed yet, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos that are released. It's my mission to see you succeed and do so much more in less time. So implement these tools, install them, and let me know in the comments which one had the biggest effect. Let's do this.